Hello friends, today I am going to solve Geeks for Geeks problem of the day of 16 June. The problem stated we have given an array initially contains a single value 0 and we have given a list of queries of size q where each query is one of the following types. If 0, we need to insert the yes into the array. If 1, then we need to replace every element of array A with a jar of yes. Okay, and at the last we need to return the array in the sorted order after performing all queries. So let's do coding and let's understand. We need to return an array. So let's say I have created an array result. Okay, the initially it contains the value 0, has one element only and contains 0. Okay, and let's run a loop for queries. Okay, and let's say we have operation q of 0 and let's say value q of 1. Okay, and if operation is 0, we need to insert the value in the resultant array. Okay, so let's say we have push in the array. Okay, but if the operation is 1 else, so we need to perform jar with each element of the array. So we need to traverse the whole array for int j is equal to 0, j is less than resultant dot size j plus plus. Okay, and here we will do resultant of j is equal to resultant at j index jar operation with value. Okay, yeah, this is how we are doing as the question stated. At the last we need to sort the array, so we are doing so. After performing the sort operation, we need to return the result. Okay, let's compile and run. Yeah, our output is correct. Let's submit it. Okay, but it is going to time limit exceed. Yeah, there is one test case for which it is giving us test case time limit exceed. So why where it is taking 2 bit of time, as we need to sort the resultant array, so we can't do something here. We need to traverse the whole queries operation to perform each operation, so we can't do somewhere. We only can do to reduce the time complexity by reducing this for loop. Okay, so how can we do it? So let's go into the presentation. Let's say I have initially have a resultant array. Okay, 0. While traversing the query session, I am till here, so I will push 6, then I will move here, I will push 3, then I go here, I will push 2 and I reached here. So I found this is a jar operation we need to do here. So what I need to do, I need to perform jar with each element. Okay, with each element of the resultant array. At the last, I again need to perform the jar operation. Okay, so one thing I am looking that for each jar operation we need to traverse the whole array resultant. So how can somehow we can store a jar operation for one operation? Let's say I have initially have jar with 0. Okay, so while I reached it till here and it is a jar operation, so instead of doing every element jar with 4, what I will do, I will update the jar variable with jar of 4, so it becomes jar of 4. Okay, and I again reached here, so instead of doing the jar operation in the resultant array, what I will do, I will perform the jar operation with the jar variable 4 jar 5. So what the jar becomes, let's say 4 value is 1 0 0 in binary representation. Okay, and 5 representation is 1 0 1. So at the last the jar becomes 0 0 1. So instead of doing 2 times, what I can do now, I can now simply what I can do now. So instead of doing 2 times operation, we can at the last traverse the whole array resultant and perform the jar with 1. So we will got our resultant array and at the last we will sort it and we will get the resultant order. So let's do it. So we need to perform the jar operation with 1. So 1 0 becomes 1. Here we need to perform the jar operation with sys. So sys binary representation is 1 1 0 and I will perform jar with 1. So it becomes 7. Okay. For 3 the binary representation is 1 1 and we need to perform jar with 1. So it becomes 1 and 0. That is a binary representation of 2. And for 2, this one, the binary representation is 1 0 and I need to perform the binary representation with 1. So it becomes 1 1. That becomes 3. Okay, this is the resultant array and while we sort it, it becomes 1 2 3 and 7. This is the array we need to return. As let's check the output. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, but let's say instead while storing the jar operation, what, let's take the another example. If I traverse the whole array that contains 0 and let's say I put 2 and let's say I reached here. Okay, I am taking the jar variable and defining it with 3 now, as we need to perform the jar here with 3 and here with 3. At the last we need to push the 5, so here I put the 5. So how can I find that no need to do jar of 3 with 5? How can I do it? So instead of, so we, as at the last we are doing the jar with the whole resultant array, but we no need to do the jar with 5. So how can we do if I already store In the case of 5, if here I store, in the case of 5, 5 job 3, okay. So at the last, what if I do the jar operation also with 5, this index, so what will do, this 3 and this 3 cancel, so 5 automatically remain consistent, okay. So this is how we can perform this operation, so our data remains consistent. So let's go into the code panel. At the, if the operation is 0, what we are doing, we are doing the value, we are storing not only the value but value with jar, okay. And in the else case, what I am doing, I am updating the jar variable with the value, okay. Let's create a jar variable with initially assigned with 0, okay. So this is how at the last we need to perform the jar operation with whole resultant array, okay. Auto of, yes, resultant for int I is equal to 0, I less than this. This is what I need, we need to do, as we need to do the every element of resultant array with the jar of SR. Let's compile and run. Let's say it's working fine, let's submit it. So this code is working fine and I already updated this code here. You can check it out and you will find this solution of today this for this problem of the day, okay. This is the site, you can visit, okay. Yeah, thank you for watching, please like and subscribe.